So many of us are looking for a template. We're looking for some handles on how to pray. A lot of reasons you don't pray as much as you'd like to pray is because you don't know what to say. You don't know where to begin. Like, how do I start? So much so the disciples were feeling this because when Jesus started praying, they're like, well, we don't know how to do that. And so here we go. Pray from your adopted identity. Number 2, pray to your loving Father. He loves you. Your Father in heaven loves you. And I wish I could explain it. I wish you could feel it. And I'm asking that the Holy Spirit would move through this room for you to receive that incredible life-changing truth that he's not against you, but he's for you. He loves you. He wants to bless you. He wants to give you good gifts. I'm no longer a slave to fear because I'm a child of God. I love that song we sang earlier. A.W. Tozer said, what comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. Man, what a statement that is. What comes into your mind when you think about God? Think about it. Right now, when you think about God, what comes into your mind? What's the metaphor? What do you think of? Cop around the corner? Yeah, God is just kind of waiting to catch me. So you hide. Cosmic slot machine. I mean, he doesn't know what I need, and he's not really for me, but let's just see if I can get lucky here. And we'll just throw up a prayer. Distant dictator. Man, I got all kinds of little sayings here. He's powerful, but he's really far away. He's busy ruling the universe. What do you think of when you think of God? Most important thing about you. Jesus is saying, how about Father? How about Father? In Genesis chapter 1, it begins this way with a word that was used and is used in Genesis chapter 1 when referring to God, and the word is Elohim. Elohim. Everyone try saying this. This is kind of a fun one. Elohim. Say Elohim. Yeah, and if you want to get real Jewish about it, you can kind of just cough up there a little bit. So Elohim, and you can kind of get there at the end. Cough something up on your neighbor, say I'm sorry. But that's how that Hebrew can sound. So Elohim is this formal name for God, a formal way of addressing God. Elohim, this is how it begins in Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 2, this is really interesting to me at least, something happens where we go from Elohim to Yahweh Elohim. What's happening here? Well, in Genesis chapter 2, not sure if you've heard of these two people, but Adam and Eve. Does that ring a bell? Anybody? Anybody? A few of you have heard of Adam and Eve. So God created Adam and Eve in his image, not because he was bored and had nothing else to do, but he created them to bear his image, to bear his likeness. And so they're walking with God in the very beginning. And so we have this compound word in Genesis chapter 2, Yahweh Elohim. Yahweh is the personal name for God. And then now it makes sense when you understand when it arrives because they needed a personal way to describe this very personal God that they were experiencing in the garden before they blew it. And so Yahweh Elohim. All right, so think about it this way. My dad, I don't know if you've met my dad before. Most people call him Brother Walt. So he's amazing. And it was his 80th birthday a couple weeks ago. And so he works on our church staff. He has for 8 years, which is just an amazing thing. Growing up, he was my pastor and Tommy's pastor. And for 8 years, he's been on our church staff doing amazing things. Now, primarily what he does is he's discipling and mentoring some of our young leaders in our church. So cool. Anyway, my dad got a master's degree in theology. This is when I was really, really young. And so there in Dallas where we lived, he got his THM in divinity, in theology. I think he majored in Greek. It was then a number of years after that, when I was maybe in middle school or something like that, he then got his doctorate in homiletics. So it's a doctorate in preaching. So thankfully, he's really kind and humble and generous. Otherwise, my life would be really hard because he sits in about every sermon that I give. And he's got a doctorate in doing what I'm doing right now. I don't have a doctorate, not even close to a doctorate. Anyway, so if I'll just kind of move right along there. So I want you to just imagine, this is moving somewhere important. So I just want you to imagine, let's just say, hey, we're having lunch, me and you. And I invite my dad. So the three of us are now having lunch. And I want you to imagine for the entirety of that lunch, me only talking to my dad by using Dr. Walt Peacock. Throughout the lunch, that's the only way I talk to him. Excuse me, Dr. Walt. Excuse me, Dr. Walt, can you pass the salt and pepper? Excuse me, Dr. Walt, would you like to order? All right, so just imagine the whole course of that. If that's the only way I talk to my dad, some of you would question our relationship. Some of you would be like, wow, must be a really good doctor, but maybe not a great dad. Why doesn't John feel the permission to call him dad? What would happen if you had lunch with me and my dad? You would hear me only call my dad dad, or sometimes pops. That's kind of what we call him. Why? Because he's my dad. He's my father. You may call him Dr. Walt. I call him dad. And in no way does that diminish his doctorate, but what it's doing is it's elevating our relationship. And this is what is getting at in the very beginning in Genesis, Yahweh Elohim. He's personal. Here's what's also interesting in the very beginning parts of Genesis. The serpent, Satan, when he enters the story, instead of the serpent, Satan, referring to God as Yahweh Elohim, he only uses the term Elohim. Does not use the term Yahweh Elohim. Subtle, but I think significant. Is it possible that in Genesis, Satan is scheming to subtly demote God from father to a distant, stingy, really powerful, but dictator? Mighty in power, sure, but unknowable and untrustable. Is it possible that in the very beginning, the enemy, Satan, is planting the seeds of deceit in their ear by saying, hey, keep it formal. Keep it formal. And I'm telling you, if you only keep it formal, your prayer life will never become what it was meant to be. This is why Jesus responds with, our Father. If you want your prayer life to go to entirely new places, feel the permission from Jesus himself to refer to God as Father. And this is what we see him do. Mark chapter 14, Abba, Father, Jesus prays, the most intimate term for a father. It's like Papa is the translation of Abba. I mean, this is how Jesus is talking to his Father. He says, Father, not just there, but in other places. Father, sanctify them with the truth. That's when he was praying for us. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And here's what I know. As a father, I love when my kids talk to me as Father. I love when they just talk to me in their own words. I love checking in with them. I have 2 teenage girls, and I love hearing about their day, what was hard, what was good. There's been many times where Kelly, my wife, has encouraged our girls. Maybe it's on Father's Day or other days, like, hey, I want you to use your words to honor and affirm your dad. And those are awesome days. And my girls, with their own words, will say things like, Dad, thank you so much for how hard you work for our family. Thank you for providing for us. Thank you for how much you love Mom. Oh, like when I hear their own words to me, like game, set, match, my heart is melting. Now just imagine on those days if they were to borrow the lyrics of a country song or the poem from somebody else, like I would appreciate it. But when I hear their words to me, their own words, it moves my heart. The same is true for God. Use your own words. You can use rote prayers. I encourage that. But why not your own words within your prayers? Feel his permission. Our Father. Jesus moves on to the third word that we'll look at today, the word hallowed. Everyone say hallowed or hallowed. Depends how you want to say it. I go with hallowed. To which we come to this word, and we've heard this word before, and when we say it or hear it, we're like, whew, that feels like an important word. Don't know what it means, but it feels like a really important word. And it is an important word. This word means set apart, distinct, holy. Our Father in heaven, hallowed, set apart, distinct, holy is your name. Father, may your name be holy is another way of saying it. Now, this is interesting, right? Because we just got done talking about Father, close, proximate, near. And now you're going with hallowed. Now you feel like you just changed it. You're like, oh, which one is it? Like close, proximate, near, or like hallowed, holy, distinct? And the answer is yes. So Jesus is saying two things are true at the same time. We can bookend our prayer, and I would encourage you to bookend it with Father language and hallowed language. Personal, relational, close language, and other distinct, holy, there is none like you kind of language. This is what he's teaching, that God is both knowable and unknowable. ever present and all powerful. He's with me, but way beyond me. Both things are true at the same time. And yet, I have found in our day and age, sometimes we're doing really well on the Father close part, but this hallowed part, I'm not sure why, like honor over the past number of decades in our society just has gone down and down and down. And so I think for us at this time, in this cultural moment, this hallowed part is really important for us to pay attention to.